Amen. Would you be seated tonight? Hey, you know, when you drove up, you'll see this periodically, and we don't make a lot of mention about it a lot of times, but when you drove up, you saw the blood drive mobile and the blood mobile that was out there, right? Nod your head. Look intelligent. Did you remember seeing that? Okay, and now here's what I want you to imagine something with me tonight. Imagine that tonight you go give blood, and while you're giving blood, you say thank you, they say thank you, they put that little sticker on you, they give you a little fruit and some juice, and you go and you don't think about it anymore. But suppose someone's life was held in the balance of receiving blood, and it was your blood. And suppose you knew who that person was. And suppose they did not even live in the United States. And suppose that they contacted you and you discovered something that you did changed not only a life, but saved a life. Before we continue on, before we take an offering, we've got just kind of a little special thing that we want to do, because that very thing didn't happen with blood, but it happened with a stem cell. And I'm going to ask in just a few seconds Brian McDougall to come. He's going to say some things, and then I'm going to come back and say some things. But our own Jeff Wagner, been a member here at 2000. You've seen Jeff back there in that wheelchair, and if you've got any, if you've been around him, he's given you probably a bracelet to wear. Now mine says Witt Strong, because I'm praying for Daniel Witt, but his also says Finish Strong. And you guys already got one. I see you met Jeff Wagner. That's how you know whether you've met Jeff Wagner or not, whether you've got one of these. And the truth of the matter is, something did happen in his life real similar. And I'm not want to spoil it from Brian, because he wants to tell you some things. But as he comes, we're going to tell you the story, and then we're going to have a special prayer of thanksgiving, and it's going to be real, real special. So would you welcome my associate pastor, Brian McDougall? Would you do that? Come on.
Thank you, Pastor Ken. It is my pleasure tonight to introduce to you Sepp and Maria Feuerecker. They're visiting all the way from Osterhofen, Bavaria, Germany, as a guest of Idlewild member Jeff Wagner. Although Jeff has known Sepp for a few years, Jeff actually met Sepp face to face for the very first time tonight at Idlewild in the fireside room. You see, Jeff was diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago, and not expected to live, received a stem cell marrow transplant at the Moffitt Cancer Center, thank you, Dr. Pledger, in 2007 from Sepp Feuerecker. God used Sepp's marrow to save Jeff's life. For years, Jeff has looked forward to this day where he would be able to meet Sepp for the first time at his home church and to thank him for his sacrificial gift of life. So folks, Idlewild family and friends of Jeff Wagner, if you would now please join me in welcoming Jeff Wagner and his friends Sepp and Maria Feuerecker for their first ever visit to the United States of America from Germany.
Stand right here. Come on, Jeff. Come, both of you, stand right here. Would you do that? And Jeff, bring your mom too. I think your mom's here as well. Jeff's going to bring his mom. Sepp, ask them to stand right there. Would you do that? And face this crowd. All right. Yeah, Dr. Inns, go speak to them. Go speak German to them so they can. Jeff, you stay right there. Would you do that? Because we're going to pray for you, and we're going to ask some people to come around and give the Lord thanks. Now, you can go ahead and be seated for a moment, because I just want to say one word. If you know anything about Jeff Wagner, you know that that Finish Strong is part of not only his testimony, but he's used it to motivate teams. He's a big Bulls fan, of course, and you'd expect him to be. And finishing strong means a lot to him. But I want to say to Joseph, which they call him Sepp, and I hope we haven't butchered your name so bad, Feuerecker, he is from Germany. And Dr. Inns has been here, and Dr. Inns has been speaking German to him. And in just a few moments, we're going to give thanks publicly to the Lord. And I'm going to ask Dr. Inns to come and do this, and I'm going to ask him to pray in German. He's been talking to me, and he tells me he can talk German, and we're going to find out. I mean, we're putting it on the line tonight right here. And we're going to give God thanks, because that is Sepp and Maria's heart language, and I want to honor them and speak in your heart. And I want to say to you, sir, thank you so very, very much. because what you did in having allowed the stem cell to go inside this man. Now they've kind of met each other by email, but they've never really officially met, and they did that tonight. And you know what? Jeff thought enough of your church, his church, that he wanted to do that for the very first time, and he wanted to do that right here in your presence, because you know what? We're his family. And this is his mom right there, and so Mrs. Wagner, thank you also for being here tonight, and I just want you to know that when you go out to give blood tonight, you might be interested if you're between the ages of 18 and 44. It's not like you're signing up for stem cell tonight. But let me tell you something. If you're interested, they have some information. There is a stem cell drive going on right now in this city. The blood folks are aware of it. They will swab your mouth, and if you have a match, they may even contact you. So if you're interested in that. And by the way, what makes us good Christians just makes us good citizens, right? Just makes us good people. Makes us do what Sep has done. And when you look at Jeff, you wouldn't look at Jeff if there wasn't a man. And so he wanted to do some stuff in the United States. And one of the things he said is, I'd like to come to an exciting worship service. And so we just thought exciting Idlewild might be a good one for him to go to. So we're going to receive our offering. I'm going to ask you to stand with me, and I'm going to ask our beloved Dr. Paul Inns. And I was teasing with you. I've heard him speak German. He witnesses to people in German around this city. And so I was only playing with you when I said I don't believe he can. I know he can. I've heard him do that. But I thought it'd be good for you to hear in Sep's native language a praise to God, to say, God, thank you. Jeff, thank you for thinking of your church. Thank you for loving your church. Thank you for including us in your little reunion here together. You did not have to do that, and we want you to know that we love you and we honor you. Now, while we're praying, you may know Jeff, you may be here from USF, and you'd like to just come and stand here as a celebration to his life, and you'd like to be right around here in this prayer. So go ahead and make your way here. I should have done that earlier, but you'd like to just come around and tell this family thank you. And we're standing really just in honor of the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, folks, imagine if someone could do that for life physically, don't you think that before this week's over, we could share the gospel of Jesus Christ verbally and spiritually with someone and offer something to them? Because Jesus has already given us something, hasn't he, to give us life. And we get to tell the story. What a great story to tell. Dr. Inns, thank you so very much for your availability. And I'd like to ask you if you would, and not only asking the Lord blessing on this offering, but in German, let's tell the Lord thanks. And folks, you pray in English, okay, to yourself. All right, go ahead.
Join me in prayer, please. Unser Vater, wir sagen dir Dank heute Abend. Wir haben viel zu preisen. Wir loben und preisen dein großes Namen, dein großer Namen, was du erreicht hast hier. Und wir sagen Dank für Sepp und was hat aus sein Leben gemacht und dass hat gerettet durch sein Knochenmarrow hat gegeben, dass Jeff konnte Leben haben. Hier in dieses Leben, oh, wir preisen dir, was ein wundervoller Gott du bist und was du erreichst durch Menschen, die sagen, was und sind gehorsam und heucheln nach deinem Namen und was du erreichst durch die Menschen. Und so wir sagen Dank für Sepp und Maria, dass sie sind gekommen. Mögest du ihnen eine gute Zeit hier geben durch diese Zeit und mögest du Jeff gutes Leben in die Jahre zu kommen geben. Und wir sagen auch besonders Dank für das ewige Leben, das wir haben durch Jesus Christus, der für uns gestorben ist, hat sein Leben gegeben, dadurch, dass wir können das ewige Leben haben. Und für das preisen wir und leben für dich als das Größte, was wir erreichen können. So, wir bitten, segne diese Gaben, das wir geben, und wir preisen dich durch das große Namen Jesus Christus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. You may be seated.